Welcome to Grounded with John Tester and Marisa Giorgio. We decided to start, and I hit live, and then I wasn't ready to go live.
Monday, Monday the 13th. You heard of Friday the 13th. This is Monday the 13th.
Oh boy, what does that mean? What fresh hell awaits us on Monday the 13th?
It means that there's going to be some interesting headlines that are going to be, some are going to be like Friday the 13th, you know? Yeah. Anyway, it's good to be here. It's
Yeah.
hot. It's hotter than hell in north central Montana again today, but it's supposed to cool off tomorrow.
So we have joining us, and I see it didn't link up on Substack. Shoot. We have joining us in a few minutes here, Katie Phang, the Katie Phang. Dolly says hi, but I'm going to put her down. She is going to hop on with us. She was finishing up an interview. We'll talk to her all about it, but we really want to talk to her about this lawsuit that she filed against the DOJ. We need an update on that. But we're going to do some headlines first. And then when I see Katie, I'll bring her in. How does that sound, Senator?
Good to me.
All right. Let me just see. I started early and now I'm not ready because I don't have any of my screen grabs ready to go. But I'll start here. What do you think this is going to be? Because the president just put this out on True Social saying Uh, he's talking like Bob Dole. President Trump will be making a speech to the nation on Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Another primetime address on Thursday. What do you think that's going to be about?
My guess it's probably going to be about Iran, but who knows? Maybe it's maybe it's going to be about Lindsay. Maybe it's going to be about Ukraine. But my guess is Iran, Strait of Hormuz, probably make claims that are not true, which tends to be the case when it comes to Iran. A friend of mine actually said something the other day that was interesting. He said, "I believe the news coming out of Iran more than
Oof.
the news coming out of American news industry."
Interesting. I mean, that's the thing is like, who do you trust in all of this, right? We've seen. We'll get into it here. We have some updates on Iran. Um, all right, I want to talk to you. Actually, let's talk about Iran first, because hopefully Katie will join us for this other headline about another ICE shooting. But I want to talk to you about this. The deal that we are days away. Remember hearing that, Senator? The president says we're just days away from making a deal with Iran. Well, right now, the US and Iran are both saying that they are in control of the Strait of Hormuz. We are seeing more attacks, both literal attacks and war of words. And now President Trump, says he's going to block ships through the Strait of Hormuz again. And now he's going to charge a 20% fee on goods passing through, despite the fact that his aides have been saying for weeks that no country can charge tolls or fees through that waterway. And on Friday, I should mention that the president formally notified Congress that fighting resumed. What do you make of it?
This is a sign of a president that doesn't have his shit together, doesn't know what he's doing, and has no idea where he's headed. That's it. I mean, the truth is that um, this is not somebody who is exhibiting confidence in any way with what's going on in Iran. It was a mistake to begin with. I think he understands it. He doesn't know how to get out of it. And quite frankly, I don't know that anybody knows how to get out of it now because he's created a real problem for the world, by the way. And this is a problem, as I said before, that's not going to go away when Trump goes away. Iran is going to be a problem for the rest of our lives until we get off of carbon-based fuel, by the way. Get off carbon-based fuel so we got more electric cars, more electric tractors, more electric trucks that are run by electricity generated from non-carbon-based sources. That's when this problem will go away. Otherwise, Strait of Hormuz is going to be a pain in the ass for as long as my great grandkids are going to be around.
Well, and this does not go. This proposal to put a 20% fee on it doesn't help costs go down for anybody. PS. I mean, again, you hear how many people like you were talking about filling up your diesel the other day.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I fill up my tanks in fall, and I run out about this time of year, and have to put in about another couple thousand gallons. And the problem is that it's gone up nearly double. I mean, truthfully, it's close enough to double. It could be double. And it probably will be double, by the way. It came down a little bit, but it's going back up very quickly. So this is a problem. And you're right, by the way. If you read all that, who controls what, who's doing what, uh, challenges, we go to the gas pumps, we're still paying through the nose, and it's increasing costs for everything that we buy.
Yeah, it's gonna be really rough, and the word affordability is not a hoax, folks, and, the president's suggestion otherwise is I mean, I'm shocked. I went to a restaurant with my son here, like a little Brazilian takeout place here in Missoula, and it's always been this really great affordable place. Like, everything is going up in price, and you see it absolutely everywhere. So, yeah, that's a pain point for sure. All right, Katie says she's gonna join us here momentarily. She was wrapping up an interview with your do we call him a friend? Do we call him a friend? Former
Yeah,
colleague, Senator Cory Booker?
yeah, the bookie's a friend, but she's got to cut him off, or he'll talk till something.
We're gonna get him back on our show too. That was a fun episode. So Katie will join us here momentarily. Um, I Someone's asking what my shirt says. My shirt says mahalo, and that means thank you in Hawaiian.
Cool. She's only been to Hawaii 3 times in the last 6 months. It's all right. So
Hey, let's stop now. Okay, this is a really troubling story. I was hoping Katie could hop on, and maybe she'll hop on by the end of this, but I want to get her take on this. We have another fatal ICE shooting, folks, out of Maine today. This is just 1 week, less than a week after ICE officers killed a man they were chasing in Houston. In that case, in the Houston case, I said that it was self defense, and they accused this man, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, of ramming their vehicles before trying to run over an officer. That's what ICE claimed. We've heard that before. That's what we heard about Renee Good in Minneapolis. And new surveillance video actually shows something else. It shows uh, agents driving aggressively in unmarked vehicles. We're still waiting to see video of the actual shooting in Houston. But in today's case in Maine, we are still learning details. Two organizations say the man who was shot was a 26-year-old Colombian man who was authorized to work here in the US. And a witness says that he saw an officer open the door of one of the vehicles, pull out a man whose head was bleeding profusely, and he heard the man who was shot say, "I tried to stop." And that is it's just heartbreaking. I see Katie Phang here. I think she's ready to join us to come in and talk about this ICE fatality. Katie, can I get a thumbs up from you if you're ready? All right, she's ready. Hey.
I get 2 thumbs up.
All right. Well, sorry we started without you, but Senator Tester has some swathing and farm stuff to do, so we had to get.
I'm working on the combine now. But at
Oh,
any rate, I just have one question before we get back to this headline, which is very distressting, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
did you file your papers to run for the United States in Maine?
No, but I just filed my response to Todd Blanche's bullshit is what I just did in federal court, so no, but I've not
We're
filed
gonna
my papers to run yet. I did not.
we're gonna get to all of that. Katie, I just told this story. I know you posted about it. Another horrific, uh, shocking, unnecessary death in Maine. An ICE officer. Well, we're still learning details, but an ICE involved shooting in Maine. A 26-year-old man who we're told was authorized to work here in the United States. Is this just the norm now? We're just gonna have this happen all the time?
Well, especially when you have a dumbass like JD Vance running around who, theoretically has a law background and a law degree telling people that they get absolute immunity if they're killing people like ICE agents. So, yeah, sadly, and you notice we haven't heard anything for Markway Mullen, right? Haven't heard a single thing. You would think that the
Right?
Secretary of DHS would I mean, I prefer not hearing from them when they tell lies like Kristi Noem did when she had the job, but yeah, sadly, this is the reality. And you know what's interesting is that last week, because I've had chance to spend time with one of the sons of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, who was murdered in Houston, and it was remarkable because we were literally waiting for for somebody to die who was Hispanic, right? Like, we just knew eventually we're gonna get to that point. I don't think any of us really thought that it was going to be a Renee Nicole Good or an Alex Preddy to kinda start us all off, and yet now this is where we are. But what it is a reminder, folks, is this shit is going on even though it doesn't make the headlines. These ICE
Right.
enforcement details, they're still happening. They just don't happen to be, these metro surge kind of operations, but they're still clearly doing this. And if they're doing this shit in Maine, of all places, you can imagine where else they're still doing this stuff.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, and the problem is that people are starting to get used to it.
Mm,
I mean,
yeah.
if this would have happened 4 years ago, if this had happened under any other presidency, they'd have been wanting to run them off, Republican or Democrat, I might add. But for some reason, um, this is okay all of a sudden. I'm gonna tell you, from my perspective, you take the human interest out of it, the terrible of losing, somebody's father or son or brother.
Yeah.
Mm, what this is gonna do to the economy of this country long term is not gonna be easily fixed. I'll just tell you that. It's just not. These folks are important workers, for our economy, and, they're important for our society, and, this is just bullshit, quite frankly, and it shouldn't be tolerated, and people should be demanding that these goddamn ICE agents that are, you know, running around, driving erratically and aggressively, are held accountable.
Well, and think about this for a second. Doesn't Trump and all those MAGA Republicans, aren't they saying, "Oh, we're gonna get rid of the criminals. We're gonna get rid of the evil, the scum, the gangsters." These people are all fucking working.
Yeah.
Like Lorenzo Salgado Araujo driving his work van that he's had 35 years in this country, no criminal contact whatsoever, never been arrested, picking up workers to go work, right?
Work.
They're doing this shit in churches and in stores. They're not doing this, in drug dens. I mean, none of it just underscores how much they lie to justify the narrative. Because to your point, Senator, the optics are horrible for them, right? And the reality is, who wants to stay and be out in the open and working if you're going to sit there and get killed? Like, they've actually skipped over the whole detention part and they're going straight to the death part. They're just going straight to the death part. I don't know if it's they're not getting trained or they are getting trained, quote unquote, and they're just ignoring the training. I don't know what is happening here other than they think that they can do this
Or they
with impunity, right? Like there's no consequence to what they're doing.
or they could be getting trained in a way that's constitutionally illegal.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they spent the
Well,
time to train them, right? I don't really
here's
care.
the thing I'm gonna say, like, this case in Houston, agents in unmarked vehicles driving erratically. If someone's driving erratically around me in an unmarked vehicle, I'm not gonna stop and
Two.
comply.
Two unmarked SUVs, dark, chasing your ass. You think you're gonna stop? I'm not
Right,
stopping.
that's insane, and it opens the door. From the beginning, I've said this, it opens the door whether you're in an unmarked vehicle or you don't show identification or you put a mask over your face, it opens the door for abuse and people to cosplay and act like they're a federal agent to go kidnap women or stalk and harass women or other people who are vulnerable. I don't like it. I don't like it, and I sure as shit wouldn't pull over if someone's driving in an unmarked vehicle erratically around me.
And how about the fact they're getting busted lying? So they say something happens. Oh, the subject was using his vehicle or her vehicle to ram mine, and in my
Uh-huh.
defense, I shot, right? But these people are getting busted for lying in
Yeah.
different cities
Yeah.
and different incidents. So of course, you're going to assume that they're going to lie to save their own asses. And so, it's like, frankly, what do you got to lose at this point? Right? It's like at this point, you pull over, they're going to shoot your ass anyway. Right? It is like one of those situations where I was just literally speaking to Senator, I was just speaking to Senator Cory Booker, and it was about this Todd Blanche nomination. And I brought up these killings, these ICE killings, because this is a DOJ thing because DOJ is not going to be prosecuting the violation of the civil rights of these people.
That's right.
So, and they're not even cooperating with Minnesota authorities for the murders of Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy. And so I said, there is a new brand of lawlessness that has become institutionalized in this second Trump administration. And that's why
What did
people like Todd Blanche are so dangerous, you know?
what did the booker say?
He agreed. And so I go, well, what are we supposed to do? Because he made it sound like it was a foregone conclusion that the Blanche confirmation goes through because of the numbers. And I said, what about Tillis? What about Cornyn? And then I said,
Right.
what about Graham being, and he said, they're going to replace Graham.
With a
What?
sister.
I don't,
His sister. It just came down, Katie. Literally, it just came down. They're
well, wait, I know
replacing.
Trump said to replace with a sister. Is
No,
she
they
in?
they just did. She's in. It just happened as you were
Wait,
talking.
does this lady even have a background? Like, what's her deal? No?
You don't have to have a background to be a U.S. senator. You're supposed to have a background to be attorney
Who is
general.
she? But what is she? Like, what is she? What is she? Who is she?
She's Lindsay's younger sister by 7 years.
Okay, Anne?
I'm like I
Anne? What is that? I mean, like, you could put the dog walker in the job? I mean, like, I don't understand.
yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand it.
I can help. I can help you both understand. Yes, you can put the dog walker in the job. Yes, you can.
Shut I can't I just can't. I just can't. I just can't. I cannot. So it especially on one of the most important committees too, Senate Judiciary.
Well, there's no saying what happens with the committees. The committees could be moved around. She could be other people could vie for Lindsay's spot on his, like, on
Oh.
judiciary. It's all up to leadership. And then she could be put on other committees, that are less.
I haven't seen anything that I don't know anything about her other than she's his little sister. Oh, Katie, did you freeze? No,
No.
you're there.
I'm
You're
just
just
I'm
you're just
just
shocked.
horrified. I'm just so horrified. I'm holding my head in shock.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
this was but here's the other weird thing about this story. Okay, so she's officially nominated, right? Or
Or
appointed.
does she just get the seat? Like,
She
does
just
she have to
well,
do anything?
um
If the
no,
governor,
she
if
doesn't.
the governor appointed her, I think it's done
Yeah,
deal.
she's picked to serve out the rest of his term, which the president advocated for. Here's what's weird to me, and I want to get your take on this, both of you. I floated this with Senator Tester yesterday. He brought up some good points that shut down any conspiracies or conspiracy theories, but a couple dozen federal agents from agencies like the FBI were seen at Senator Graham's home today in D.C. They say they're investigating out of an abundance of caution. Does that raise any flags for you two?
Yeah. Senator?
Well,
No? Is this normal? That don't sound normal to me.
it doesn't sound normal, but then again, who knows? All I've got to say is, and I'm not a scientist. I don't understand if there are drugs out there that you could kill somebody with and they would totally leave no residue whatsoever. But my guess is they're gonna do an autopsy and find out what he died of.
Right, but why is the FBI there? That's
Because
different.
he just got back from Ukraine, and
Just got back from Ukraine.
he just announced that the US is backing a deal that's gonna help Ukraine against Russia, and people in Russia, as we know, fall out of windows, go downstairs, and, get poisoned, like Navalny style, right? So I think that's part of it.
Mhm.
Although, the biggest question that's unanswered, and I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about me saying this right now, who called 911 from his home? Who called 911 from his
Oh.
and
I
then in
assumed
the middle of the night?
I assumed he did with chest pains. That's what
Oh, yeah, he did. No,
Did
I
he?
think that's right. I think that's right. Yeah, I think he did. Someone
I
called
know
with chest pain.
people listened to the scanner, and I didn't think they said they heard his name. They just heard somebody call.
Well, yeah, and people in the chat, Lindsey Graham. What one thing I noticed about this whole watching the tributes pour in yesterday is that there very much is like there are two versions of Lindsey Graham that people gave tribute to. There's like the pre-Trump Lindsey Graham and the post-Trump Lindsey Graham. And I will say that he adopted the sister that was just appointed. He adopted her when she was 13, when their parents died. So apparently they're very, very, very close. But I don't know, to answer your question, Katie, I don't know her. I don't know her as far as what she does for a living or anything. I didn't see that immediately. All right, I have one more headline before I want to get to your lawsuit. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, though, I mean, she clearly was vetted to make sure that she would say and she's gonna do whatever
Absolutely.
Trump wants her to do, so, I mean,
No doubt about
she could be listen, if she was the dog walker, I'd find that to be redeeming because I love dogs so much, so I would assume that that means something good, but, I'm gonna say that becomes irrelevant when it comes to policy, so but, y Senator, I do have a quick question for you. What is a pre-Trump Lindsey Graham? It wasn't like the pre-Trump Lindsey Graham was so, like, amazing either, right? So, are we
Well,
talking radicalized post-Trump Lindsey Graham and
no,
not so radicalized Lindsey Graham?
I think it was a John McCain Lindsey Graham is what it was. It
Yeah.
was McCain who we all thought that John McCain was gonna bounce off the wall if it not be for Lindsey Graham, when in fact it was just the opposite. John McCain was the one that added a sense of, uh, common sense to the equation with Lindsey, because once John was gone, Lindsey went off the deep end, 180 degrees off of what John McCain, would have done and thought amongst all this stuff. I mean, I cannot help to think that the stuff that has been done here with tariffs, with well, look,
Mm.
healthcare. John McCain was the one who said bullshit on this. I'm not going to help you sink healthcare for Americans, and the tariffs, the war in Iran. I don't care how big of a hawk you are. There was not the planning that went into that. McCain would have known that, and he would have been speaking up about it. But instead, um, the post Trump, post John McCain, Lindsey Graham person was a rubber stamp for policies that John McCain, I believe, would have never gone for. But if things work out the way they say, John McCain's probably talking to Lindsey right now, saying, "Lindsey, what the hell were you doing?"
I don't think they ended up in the same place.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
All right.
Uh, here's what I was grappling with yesterday. I mean, I was shocked by the headlines, absolutely, and because we're still on, we're watching to see any updates for Senator Mitch McConnell, and um, you know, you
Is that
see,
a real proof of life photo? Is that AI? Is that real?
I don't know. What do you think, Senator? Did you see it?
What's this? I didn't see it. What's going on?
The
Oh,
Mitch
you didn't
McConnell
see it?
Elaine Chao picture? Oh, you gotta show it to I wish we were are we able to show pictures? I don't think we're able to show
Yeah,
pictures.
I will. I'll pull it up.
Can you pull the picture
Um,
up and show him?
Do you think
I'll pull it up.
it was AI generated, Katie? Do you think it was AI generated?
I
Wow.
think it looks weird to me. I don't know. Like somebody showed listen, I'm also a skeptic, but somebody posted on social that the newspaper that he was holding that was like the proof of life newspaper that had like AI generated, gobbledygook on it, like, it wasn't
Oh,
real.
really?
Somebody posted a picture of his hand and said like one of like his fingers was I mean, it was like all weird, but then I don't know if that's the AI part of it, right? So I don't really know. But
There you
I
go,
just think it's
Senator.
weird. Oh, here we go. Let's forensically dissect this
I
photograph
will
because
tell you that if that's an AI generated picture, first of all, if I was his wife, I'd be pissed. And second of all, that's how he looks. He doesn't look good. He just doesn't look good.
why is he holding the newspaper like that, Senator, other than to be able to prove maybe they like whatever the date
I
is
think
or
it
something.
I think it was to try to show, like, "Here, look at me." Like when you sell something, on Facebook Marketplace and you put your name and the date on a Post-it note on the
So
picture.
so I'm gonna be very personal right now, and I'll share with you what I shared with my producer, which is this: my late father, who passed away in 2019 from Lewy body dementia and Alzheimer's, had to go into rehab, and that whole look of Mitch McConnell is 100% my dad.
Hmm.
The shirt being the looser shirt, button down, not tucked in, the looser pants, the pillows propping him up on the chair that has the vinyl, so when you stain it because you are incontinent or whatever, you gotta easily clean it. I mean, all of it screams like, so
Not
assuming that
doing
even
great.
though that is real, and assuming that's a real picture and that really is Elaine, who, by the way, went to China, like, what, 2 days after the dude had the freaking cardiac moment, whatever, I think that's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Um, but assuming all of that is real, then the real next question is, mental acuity, mental competency to be able to
No.
continue to do this job. So who's gatekeeping that, Senator, is my question.
Well,
Because
I mean,
Right.
I don't know that anybody's gatekeeping. I don't know. I'll just be honest with you, Katie. I served with a lot of people whose mental acuity wasn't up to doing the job, and they were still in the U.S. Senate, and they were still sitting in their desks, and they were still voting, but their mental acuity had left years, in some cases, years before, and it was bipartisan and effort. So nobody's keeping track of that. It's
well, maybe they should. Don't you think they
well,
should?
I mean, look, maybe we ought to have age limits on people who serve in public office. I mean, I think
100%.
that's a reasonable
100%.
thing to ask for, but
Um,
it's
okay.
go ahead.
I know we're dangerous because we can just go on these tangents. I do want to say Herman in the chat is saying Lindsay was good on Ukraine. Got to give him that, and that's
Yes,
part of why
he
that's part
was.
of why he was over there in Ukraine and he was with Zelensky and
Yes.
pushing for that. And I was surprised we didn't hear more from him in those instances, like when President Zelensky was berated in the Oval Office by JD Vance. But those are some things. Yes, he was very much pro Ukraine. And hope someone else in the chat said hopefully his sister will continue that. I want to get to this last headline before we get to your lawsuit, Katie, but we're going to talk about Todd Blanche in a minute in detail.
Oh,
But
this
not
order
not
from
a
Judge Williams is amazing. Oh,
yeah,
that-
not a great day for Todd Blanche because a judge ordered sanctions against him and others over that whole IRS settlement nonsense. Like Trump suing himself for $10 billion and then settling for that 1776 slush fund, and then preventing him from ever being audited by the IRS ever again. And the judge, Kathleen Williams, said that the Trump administration tried to manipulate the judicial process with the suit and also recommended disciplinary action against Todd Blanche and others. She's sending her findings to the bar associations in New York and DC. Holy shit.
The order is a work of art. I literally just walked through it on my YouTube channel. The episode's about to go up. It is amazing. And the thing that is just jaw-dropping about it is she actually used, this is how smart this judge is, she issue spotted this collusive nature of this lawsuit from the get-go. So she immediately, right after this lawsuit got filed and she saw the shenanigans happening with no attorney filing a notice of appearance on behalf of the Treasury Department, the IRS, she was like, what is going on here? So that was when she got that whole ball rolling, ordering both sides to have to prepare a legal memoranda to explain how there really is adversity between the parties and why there really is a lawsuit here. And then suddenly out of the blue, they settle with this, bullshit settlement. You know that Trump versus Rebecca Slaughter decision from SCOTUS last week for the FTC commissioner that expanded executive power, unitary executive theory, where now Trump can just, because he feels like it, fire people that are heads of allegedly independent federal agencies. Well, Judge Williams used the Slaughter decision from SCOTUS last week in her order today to basically support what she did, which is invalidate, nullify, kick the hell out of this settlement, because she pretty much said you can't settle something that never was in controversy to begin with. But she said that Slaughter held that Trump is pretty much the guy who runs everything in the executive branch. And so there is no independence of Scott Bessent, and there is no independence of the IRS CEO. And that's the reason why Trump controlled both ends of this litigation. So there never really was a lawsuit in controversy. It was, again, a work of art.
Amazing.
And everybody getting referred to their bars is beautiful too. Yep.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. Senator, sorry, I'm going to say a tester.
It's spoken like a primo attorney. That's all I got to say.
He's just going to keep pushing for you to run for that Senate seat.
Let me tell you something. And the crazy thing is,
You need to move, though. You need to move from Florida to Maine.
Today.
That happened today. So by the end of the week.
So I can run for that Senate seat in Maine?
Yeah,
is that why?
You can be the new Katie Phang Plattner.
Yeah.
No. No. Why does she have to take that name? She doesn't have to take that name.
The name, she would just take his place. Okay.
Feel like
Anyway.
Katie Mills Plattner Phang, like kind of like
Very, very, very aptly you could do it incredibly.
She
No, I stake my stake is in Shenna Bellows in Maine, the Secretary of State who's running. That's my stake for that Senate seat is her.
okay.
That's my horse
All
that I'm
right,
backing. But I will say
Katie.
this. So the Judge Williams referred Todd Blanche to the New York Bar Association because has his bar license from New York. And at the same time, today, the New York City Bar Association, of which Todd Blanche is a member, just sent a letter on behalf of the entire organization to Senate Judiciary objecting to Blanche's nomination for Attorney General.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Like,
the problem is that
it's
kind of
crazy.
stuff, nobody cares because they've already been told how to vote, so they're just dropped in line and
Well,
vote.
that's what Booker said. Booker said it's foregone. He's like, it's a foregone conclusion, Katie. And I'm like, oh, I don't believe in that, right?
Well,
Did Booker talk?
I agree
Did
with you.
Booker say anything? Like, did he talk any shit about John Tester when you were on with him?
No.
Good.
But I didn't ask him about John like on
You
the air.
you shouldn't have. That's a good job. But the bottom line is I agree with you, Katie. It should not be a foregone conclusion. But if you look how Congress has acted for the last over a year and a half now, a lot of the stuff that should never have happened, they just rubber stamped it. Of course, they'll take care of it. Of course, they'll take care of the problem. I had a Republican senator tell me that. It's crazy.
But you don't think people like Cornyn and Tillis could maybe be
Absolutely.
swayed?
Absolutely, they could be swayed and should be swayed. Somebody like Cornyn, who has given his life to the Republican Party and got shit on for it, absolutely should say, "No way,
Mhm.
this isn't gonna happen under my watch," especially since Cornyn's a former AG. He knows about it.
Yes,
He
that's
knows about
right.
it. And so
Well, and that's what Liz Oyer is hoping it doesn't even make it out of committee because
That's
she
what I'm
hopes that
hoping.
yeah. This is all taking place this week, by the way, folks. We're going to talk about it. Somebody's in the chat asking Katie, can he be AG if he gets disbarred?
You don't even have to be a lawyer to be the attorney. Oh, I'm joking.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Is that true? Do you have to be a lawyer?
I don't
I
think
I I don't think you know what? That's actually such a good question.
I don't think you
Let's
do.
go. I don't think you d
I think it's silly not to be, but, hey.
No, it says here, there's no requirement in the US Constitution that the US Attorney General be an attorney.
Kind of like Speaker of the House. Like I could, like you or I could be Speaker of the House, Katie. We don't have to be elected, right?
That's right. That's correct.
Huh.
That's right. Anybody can be speaker.
Um,
They just have to be
no,
voted.
but on Senate Judiciary, Tillis isn't a lawyer.
Right.
And you know who else isn't a lawyer? Um, what's her name? The racist one who just did the racist commercial against the Chinese people in Tennessee. What's that racist biatch? With the shitty hair? Marsha Blackburn.
Marsha.
She's also not a lawyer and she sits on Senate Judiciary. But I think she's too busy crunching up fortune cookies and going after the Chinese people to sit here and spend the time to
That video, oh my, what, like, unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is gonna be really interesting. Okay, so speaking of Todd Blanche, Katie, you filed a lawsuit against him and the DOJ.
I did.
I want to get everyone up to speed. I'm gonna do a quick recap and tell me if I get anything wrong. But last time you were on, you had just filed this lawsuit. And the whole lawsuit was for failing to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act by withholding some documents, improperly redacting other files. So in late June, a federal judge ruled in your favor, which is great, ordering the DOJ to turn over some of those redacted files or explain why they were held back. And then they were supposed to do this on July 2nd. And then that same day, the DOJ said, no, we're good. We're not going to be doing that. We're not going to be following this court order. Did I get that right?
That's right.
So then, get us up to speed. Now what?
So July 2nd, when Todd Blanche gave the proverbial middle finger to Judge Sullivan said, oh. And the following Monday, because it was a holiday weekend for July 4th, Judge Sullivan asked me to file a response by today, which literally just happened while I was live with you guys on the air, to file a response to his inability to follow the law. And then Blanche gets to write a response to me and serve it by next Monday, which is like the 20th. So literally hot off the presses, I just filed this response. And my response calls him out for violating the judge's order, not to mention still, as of today, July 13th, 2026, still violating the federal law, the Epstein Files Transparency Act, as he's on the eve of his confirmation hearing in Senate Judiciary. And what I do is I ask the judge to fine him $1,000 a day until he complies. Him, not the Department of Justice,
Mm.
but Todd Blanche. I asked the judge to fine him, and I asked the judge to order Todd Blanche to produce in camera, in chambers, with all of us being present, the parties, me and Blanche, to look at the documents he claims are not being produced in an unredacted form because they are to, quote, protect the victim's privacy. And I, in my response, pretty much call him a liar. And I say he can't be trusted. And he is, and because of that, I need the judge to make him put up the truth as to what's going on. Because that's the reality. That's where we find ourselves now, that I can't believe the Department of Justice or the acting attorney general anymore.
A couple of questions. Sorry, Senator. If this is all approved, where would the $1,000 fine a day? What pot of money does that go into? And also, yeah, I mean, great point about the victims. Like, they didn't care about the victims when they accidentally published their names, or when, who
Oh, it was
was
an
it, said,
accidental. I don't think it was
yeah,
intentional.
when Pam Bondi said she's not gonna get into the gutter with them. I mean, I don't think that they're so worried about the victims, but go ahead. Where would that money go?
The money would be put into a court registry. I mean, it wouldn't
Okay.
go into my pocket. It's not like, I mean, heck, if
Yeah.
it would, I'd share it with you guys.
No,
No,
no, but I'm thinking, like, to give it back to the victims. Can
it'd
we
go
do
into
that?
a court registry. Yeah, no. It would go into the court registry. It wouldn't go into my pocket. I mean, the reality is, you have to put teeth on these things, right? You have to put teeth on compliance. And the judge ordered Blanche. So it's interesting. The judge gave Blanche the option on a couple of things to be able to say why he can't comply with the judge's order. But his excuses are very thin, if not bullshit. For example, one of his excuses as to why he doesn't turn over a redacted document that has a redacted email address is he says he wants to protect the privacy of the email address, but he doesn't say it's of a victim like he does for other things. He just says we shouldn't be producing people's private email addresses. And on the face of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, you can't spare somebody embarrassment or public humiliation just because their name is in the Epstein files. So he also lies. He says, "Oh, by the way, those FBI handwritten interview notes, it's too hard to redact them, so I'm just not going to do it." It's like, what do you mean? Like, if it was any other person and the law told you to do it, they'd be hauling your ass to jail, right? So in this instance, I am just saying, judge, make them do the law. That's it. I'm not asking for
Yeah.
anything more, but I won't take anything less. Make them do what the law tells them to do. So I was a little bit initially like frustrated that Judge Sullivan had me respond, but then I kind of read the tea leaves a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'll respond. And I responded and I said, ding him, ding Todd Blanche $1,000 a fucking day until he complies. And because it's going to take him a long time to comply. I'm going to let you know now.
Yeah.
So he responds by Monday to what I just filed. And it'll be interesting to see what he says because he raised this issue of privacy of victims when they attacked the judge after the judge's order for the very first time. He had the opportunity to argue before the judge entered the preliminary injunction order that the reason why they were being so noble and they were full of integrity by not turning these things over is because they were abiding by the Transparency Act with not disclosing victims' personal identifying information. And yet that was never alleged. And then out of the blue, they want to attack Judge Sullivan and say this, activist judge is trying to sit there and harm the victim's privacy. And we're like scratching our head. We're like, that shit was never alleged anywhere. And then suddenly that's what they want to do because they always want to go after a judge who tells them that they have to do the right thing. If the judge had ruled in their favor, what would have happened? The best judge ever, greatest
Yeah.
judge ever on the bench. But it's always, interestingly, the judges that rule against them that are the bad judges.
Could
I mean, that's a pretty good imitation, actually.
But it's true, right?
Pretty good.
but what, like, do you see them holding him in contempt?
Well, we're teeing it up for it, right? I mean, that
Right.
was the whole point of this response. You're in
Right.
contempt of a judge's order. Yeah, it's working its way there. I'll say this. I know people get frustrated because they really think and want, as I do, stuff to move faster. But this is moving pretty fast. I filed this lawsuit at the very end of April. I filed this motion for preliminary injunction at the very end of May, which was like 4 weeks later, and the judge entered the order like, June something. Like it's moving
Yeah.
fast. The best part about the lawsuit for everybody who's tuning in is that it's still going, right? It's not dead. That's the best part
Right.
about this lawsuit. Um, and that is what we need to always keep our focus on. Before my lawsuit, nothing was happening with these Epstein files. So with this lawsuit, we're actually pushing and pushing and pushing. And that's really what you have to do with these guys. Like, you have to be a constant burr in their shoe. Like, you have to be a constant, like, knife in their side. Like, you always have to be pushing them, because if not, they'll just sit back and be complacent, and they'll, sip their cocktails and act like they give a shit, but they don't.
How can we support you, Katie?
Um, Talk about it. Keep the Epstein
Yeah.
files centered in the discourse. Talk about it, and as I like to say, connect the dots, right? Like when I spoke about this, the DOJ being weaponized to subpoena the New York Times reporters to appear in front of a federal grand jury on Wednesday in Manhattan under this excuse that it was implicating national security. There's a reason why Trump wants Jay Clayton to be the next DNI, the Director of National Intelligence, because Jay Clayton is the one whose office just issued these subpoenas, right? I mean, it is
Right.
amazing to me how it all kind of comes together. And so when you think about the bigger picture role of somebody like Todd Blanche, there's a reason why Pammy Jo with the bad hair punted responsibility to Todd on her way out, because she's like, I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. It's Todd's headache. And then now Todd is having to deal with all of this going into Senate Judiciary. And so we kind of have to show like how all of this is interconnected. And the truth is, the common denominator is this cult-like loyalty in people that you otherwise would think have the intelligence and competency to choose otherwise, and yet they don't. So when they don't, it's our job to continuously call them out on the map for it.
And you
Do you know what happened?
do a good
Yeah.
job on that. So thank
Trying, right? I mean, shit.
I know Senator has to get out and work on that. What is it? Do you have to work on the combine? Is that what's going on?
you.
Okay, but really
Is
quickly,
that
have
like
you
an
heard it?
NFL combine, Senator? Are you going to be running like the 60-yard dash? Like, what you doing? 50-yard dash? What is that?
Different kind of combine.
Different kind of combine?
There's the combine that cuts that combines a header box with a threshing machine. So
It cuts hay. It harvests hay, Katie. It harvests hay.
grain, not
For
hay.
like,
Grain.
what is it? Grain?
Grain or legumes or anything you want. Corn.
A legume. A legume.
But, but harvested. So
Yeah, he's got to get out there. But do you know? Have you heard anything? You're in Florida. Well, you live in Florida normally. Have you heard anything about where Pammy Jo is? What happened to her? Where's she at?
I don't know. She hanging out with Alina. Fuck if I know. Her and Lindsay Halligan. Maybe they're starting a law firm together. I don't know. She apparently went into private sector like they all have. I have no idea what they're doing. I haven't seen Pammy Jo. I can tell you that for the record. Let the record reflect. I haven't seen Pammy Jo in Florida. Technically right now I'm overseas, but I haven't seen Pammy Jo in Florida, so I don't know what she's doing. She's like a bad penny,
Well,
right? You know how a bad penny pops up, right?
they just keep coming back up.
They keep
Well,
coming back.
I know for sure that everyone in the chat thinks your hair looks amazing. It does. We like your
Oh, I
haircut.
chopped it off.
Everyone likes your haircut. And we have so much we want to talk to you about always. So I hope we can do this again soon. Folks, if you're not following Katie Phang on Substack, make sure you go do that. We didn't get this one linked up correctly, but that's okay. I'm gonna link it in our.
Probably my fault.
No, you've been busy. You're busy. You're busy. But we're gonna do another one of these soon. And Katie, we always love having you on. You're always like hilarious. We need you to come to Montana. Come out here.
Oh yeah. So Senator, I told Maritza I'm going to come. I'm coming. I just don't know. I don't know where I'm going. Like as in like somebody has to give me an airport code
You can
so
help
I can look up what
you can help that. MS,
airport I'm going
MSO,
to.
MSO, and then Maritza will pick you up. Okay.
And then we'll go up. MSO, come into Missoula. We'll hang here in Missoula, and then we can go up to the farm and we'll teach you the combine. We'll do all the stuff.
Do I get to drive the tractor?
No, you get to drive the combine. Or
Same, yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing.
no,
Wait,
no.
Did you guys see that guy that got thrown in the air by the what was that, a moose?
Bison, buffalo, bison, yeah. Oh, here's the thing. Normally, these videos happen and the person is not being smart, like they're getting very close to the wildlife. This guy was walking away. He was walking away. I feel really bad for him, but that's the reminder, folks. Don't pet the fluffy cows. Like those, they are wild animals and they will wreck you. They will wreck you.
Yeah, they'll dance on your head. Yes, they will. Yeah.
So we'll get this planned, Katie. But we thank you so much. Everyone, make sure you go follow, support, like, subscribe to Katie Phang. She is seriously like doing so much to hold this administration, specifically the Department of Justice, accountable. And we are grateful to you, Katie. And also, man, wicked sense of humor. We love having you on.
And then also tell her she's got to run for the U.S. Senate. Okay.
And you got to run for the U.S. Senate. And we'll wrap this up with you on the air with us, Katie.
You're an average dog walker, Katie. You're not just the average dog walker.
I'd give my
But if
life
you
to
come,
walk dogs. That's all.
if you come to Montana, you can hang out with Dolly, my dog. She made an appearance at the very beginning. Senator, what does your hat say? Let's talk about your hat before we let you go.
Baseball team, minor league baseball team, and I can't tell you what the D stands for, but it's something I think in North Carolina. I think it's a team in North Carolina, a AAA or AA baseball team.
All right. Well, there you go, folks. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Katie Phang, for joining us. Thank you to Pearl Jam, who lets us use their music. Thank you to all of you who joined us live and who are listening later on. We'll chat again soon.
Tally ho!